We're over in Taylor Park today. Drove over the top of the pass. Reservoir looks good. A lot of boats out there. Obviously, it's totally open. We're going to head up towards Taylor Pass, see what it looks like on the upper end of Taylor Park. Man, it's nice up here too. I mean, there's definitely going to be some melting going on. We just stopped for lunch before heading up Taylor Pass. We're right across the main road in some campsites, but it's beautiful down here. No snow down here. We're at like 10-1, but there is some in the trees. And then I can't see a lot of stuff right here above tree line, but coming up, it's definitely at tree line and hanging up higher where the snow line is. So we'll go up Taylor. We'll see, where it's hanging. I'm sure there's some in the trees before you can get to Taylor Lake, but we'll go up there and we'll see how far you can go. And being at the last day of May, it was pretty hot yesterday, today, and it's supposed to be tomorrow again before it cools off. So there'll be some good melting going on. You saw as we drove through the top of Cottonwood Pass there that there's still some good snowbanks on the Gunnison side for sure. That pass has been open for 9 days. It opened on the 22nd. And today's the last day of May. We'll be into June starting tomorrow. 761. We'll head up towards Taylor. See how the road higher up looks. So we're on the section of Taylor Pass where the creek used to just run down the road for a long ways. And it had been like that for ever since I was a little kid. I remember coming up here in my dad's truck and we drove up the creek and the road together through the water. And then a couple years ago, the Gunnison district, the Gunnison National Forest, had their trail crew come up and put the creek back in the creek channel right up here. We're coming up to it so that it no longer ran down the road. And, it used to be kind of fun, but then at the same time, smaller machines started going through the campsites on the side of the road there, and they were trying to connect them and almost had an entire reroute built as a bypass all the way around this creek crossing, or the creek running down the road, which obviously isn't good. Going off trail and basically making an entirely new route so they didn't have to drive through the creek during the high runoff times. Kind of like now, this creek is flowing pretty good. So now it's just one creek crossing. It's still pretty rough, and there's some good rocks up in here after you get past the creek crossing, but it doesn't go down the road like it used to. We're at like 10-8 right now. We haven't driven through snow across the entire road, and we're not the first ones up here. There's been a couple tracks in the snow right on the side of the road. So we'll keep going up here towards 11,000 and above and see how it looks. This is the second Jeep with us kind of coming through the edge of the end of that creek crossing. And then there's still a few rocks. It's not near as difficult as it once was back in the day to come out of that creek crossing area, but there's still, if you wanted to go up there on that left side, there's still a little bit harder line with some bigger rocks. And then, or you could stay on the lower line like this and kind of just meander your way up through there. We ended up finding a friend up here too, right off the edge of the pass, wandering down there through the wetlands. No snow on this side, but that side over there was facing the north side, and there's still substantial amount of snow in the trees. Very deep in this spot. I sunk up to my hip before we got high centered on here. See if we can get pulled back a few feet and then try and get through it one more time. He's back there by your dad. This drifts. We're just about 11,000 feet. And looks like, unfortunately, somebody went around it there to the left. And then now that we broke her through, we'll keep going up just a little bit. And yeah, we got a road now. Pretty good road through there now. So hopefully other people, when they come up here now, because we have really good tracks. But see, this is what happened. People have been going around this drift, and they were going through there at first, and somebody put a rock there at one time, and now they're coming through here. So this is a very good reminder. If you were in the high country early in the year, you always stay on the road, no matter what. If there's a tree in the road, you need to move the tree. If there's snow in the road like this, you need to dig it out or go over the top. You always have to stay on the road. We don't drive around down trees. We don't drive around snow. And unfortunately, here's another spot. So we just went through this drift on the road, which is back where that Jeep is and where I'm at on this side. And some side-by-sides decided to drive off the side into the willows down there to get around this snow. Or we got out, we did some shoveling, and then we're just trying to get both vehicles through the snow now that we have tracks. And now that we have tracks, the road's going to melt out a lot faster. People will stay on the road so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again. And I think they did it in front of us too. And then you're probably saying, how do I know it was side-by-sides that did that? Well, the width of the tracks, and then this is down there where somebody hit a tree, bounced that cover off, and it's a Polaris. So that's how I know, based on the width and the tracks and the debris they left, what it is. I got my lackey over here working on this drift. You see they drove off over there too, instead of just trying to creep through this one where we're digging through. And then honestly, it looks like they did it there too. So we'll get past here and we'll go see. So we got through that back one there pretty easy, and this one too for now. But this is the stuff that makes it hard for all of us to be supportive and courteous of side-by-sides, because this is the road. This is where I drove through, and this is what they're doing. Clear up there into the willows, bashing around, because they're early here in here early season. It took me 10 minutes back there to shovel out a track so we could get through. And this is the kind of stuff that we get as a result, romping around there in the wetlands instead of just trying to drive through the snow. So hopefully those tracks will melt out and everybody will stay on the road for the rest of this year. Now I'm up at Taylor Lake now. Outlet, there's a tiny bit of open water, and then the rest of the lake still has ice on it. And those people whoever was up here in side-by-sides, and I'm guessing it was on Memorial Day weekend, the way that these tracks look. But they made it up here to the lake, and then they drove around the side of it. Now I'll go look over there, but it's pretty disappointing when I show you what happened behind me. So as I'm coming back down here, I'll show you what happened, and this is some of the worst stuff I've probably witnessed firsthand. But let me get up over here first. And I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in. Our Jeeps are right over there. So the road comes right to there, then comes across this snowfield over here to where I'm standing right here, and goes around the lake. And what these guys did, I'm assuming they're guys, what these people did on side-by-sides is come up here early season, come clear over here. Remember, the road's right there. They come clear over here into these willows and trash everything so that they can somehow just get around that snowfield right there. I mean, look at these tracks. All through the busted up and broken willows. Now, if nobody else goes through here, just about fell right there, then this may not look bad by the end of the summer, because these willows will all leaf out and they'll, grow back together. And then just for fun, They even look like they attempted to get over here. That's right where the outlet is. So instead, they drove over there, and that's after they're over here on the, not quite tundra, but kind of the interchange between high mountain grasses and tundra. This is all off the road. And if I come over here, we're going to cross the road again. And these are definitely side-by-side tracks. Somebody's throwing their orange peels out too. So this is where the road's at. So now I'm on the other side of that snowfield. And they drove up around the tree. Across that actually hit a fire ring. But the road normally goes right from me to right where my Jeep is, right there. And there's like a intersection here, and then it goes up, it goes around that tree, and then continues up. But the intersection is right here, and they went around that tree, down from where my Jeep is, up around that tree, through here, out into the grass over there, through the willows, just so they could get over there to where the ice is on the lake and then turn around. And it's pretty deep, and this is a little bit of an uphill slope, so I'm stopping right there with my Jeep. If I had my yellow one over here, I think we could probably get through the snowfield, but that one's just a little bit heavier and quite a bit lower. So it doesn't quite do as good early in the season. But this is what we can have. And if other people come over here and follow those tracks and do that through the willows, and it does break them all down, then we're left with some more lasting damage. And that's frankly unacceptable. I mean, I put thousands of hours every year into trying to keep trails open, to protect trails, frankly, even advocating against gates and seasonal closures and things like that so that we can enjoy these areas early in the season. But if more stuff like this happens, we're going to find gates on every single trail in Colorado, every road and trail on public land that goes up above tree line. And that gate will stay closed until it is fully melted out so people can't do this. So if you were over here in Taylor Park riding your side-by-sides on Memorial Day weekend and you went up here to Taylor Lake, I'm talking right to you. And if anybody knows who did this or sees photos or anything, I took a lot of photos up here, so I have the photo evidence of up here. You know, send those in, let us know, because this kind of stuff ruins it for all of us. And continually up here in Taylor Park, year after year after year, whether it's on Italian Creek or Cement Creek or up here on Taylor Pass, to have the same issues over and over with side-by-side users coming in. Maybe they're residents of the state, maybe they're coming in from out of state, doesn't matter. This type of stuff is wrong for everyone. Don't do it, or it makes it almost impossible to keep our trails open. So we'll turn around here, head back down. This is right at, Taylor Lake is right at 11.6. So that's about where we got to. So if you come up Taylor Pass from Taylor Park and you stay on the road, you can get just before the lake here at like 11.6. And if you want to keep going, make sure you get out, shovel, break out the winch, have some buddies, something, but make sure you stay on the road. We decided to bounce up to Holy Cross today. We'll see. Homestake Road opens on the 25th, so this has only been open a week. So we'll go up to the trailhead. Ryan Bedreau from Mile High and Trails Off Road was up here yesterday. Drove up to the one-way exit, and it was clear all the way to there. So we'll go past that and see what it looks like. Okay, here we are. We're gonna head up first part of the trail here. We'll see what we find. We don't usually come to Holy Cross, at least myself, this early in the season, just because It's honestly not that long of a trail, and if it's still snowed in, you know, it doesn't take very long to get up and come back. Not that it's not an awesome day in the mountains no matter what you're doing, but there's other places we usually go, you know, early season wheeling. But today we're here because if you watched any of our project videos, we had one last year on Holy Cross where we did a bunch of work at French Creek and drainage work, and we did that in September during low water on purpose, and we're back because I want to see it during high water during runoff season. Okay, here we are at the one-way exit. Ryan was right, the trail is 100% clear. Up to this point, there's really there was a couple little minor sections of snow just hanging in the trees in the shade there, but nothing in the road. So we'll continue up here towards the first obstacle, well, first real obstacle, which is the notch. There's a couple little warm-up places down there that if you have trouble on those, you might as well hit the bail out there at the exit. And the first part of this trail up to this point is one way, so you can only go up it. It's pretty narrow and there's not really anywhere to pass, so when you come back out, you need to hang a right back there and head down the exit and then drive the access road all the way back down to where you came in. And now we're coming through the trees to the first real obstacle on the trail called the notch. It's kind of like the gatekeeper because if you've been up here, you obviously know the rest of the trail is fairly difficult with multiple obstacles, where the first part of the road getting to this point is a little bit mild. And this obstacle can be, there's a couple different lines, but it can be really tricky because it's usually extremely wet, which like the road's really wet right now, or later on in spring, or in the summer, I mean, with monsoon season, and then this rock gets really, really wet. So we'll see how we do today. Never actually seen it with water coming down the obstacle, but we'll give it a try anyway. Slight tire spin, but not bad. Usually if it's wet, you gotta go to this little bit of a left line where I went. If it's completely dry, that right line over there, you can crawl right up it. But on the left side, it allows you to get a little bit of momentum so that as you get traction, you can continue moving forwards. We'll see how, I'm a little shorter wheelbase than Cheston is, so we'll see how the longer wheelbase hits this one. Oh yeah, no trouble. Yeah, buddy. If it's super slick though, and you do get into trouble, we put, it was 2 seasons ago, we put some anchors. Yeah, you see it there. We still got pretty good paint right here in the middle of the road, so you straddle it, but it's a direct pull if you're down there on that obstacle. We're at about 10-6 now. I can finally start seeing some snow up here, at least in the road. Not a lot, but a little bit. So, and it does not look like there are any tracks in it. Maybe somebody could have gone over it a long time ago. I don't know. I think I see snowmobile tracks, so I don't think anybody's been this far up here. So we'll creep our way through this snow. But we did put those winch anchors in 2 seasons ago. There's 3 of them. We put one in up at Cleveland Rock, one at French Creek, and then one back down there, just because that notch obstacle has gotten so dug out that if it's really wet, rainy season and monsoons and stuff, it is super slick and it's really hard to get up that section. So we do have those 3 anchors, and if you didn't watch our project video last year for the drainage work, I suggest you go back and look, because our operator Mike, getting the excavator up the whole road, but specifically that obstacle down there, is a sight to see. It's well worth a watch. couple of these sections through here actually kind of deep. Snow's still a little hard. We're not sinking in too far, but there's just some little pops of snow, hit or miss, on the road up through these dark trees. There's a couple places up here where it's real dark in the shade. I bet there'll be some pretty good mounds hanging in there. Man, it's ripping today too. Already, it's supposed to get really hot today. I'm excited to see what French Creek will look like. This creek here was one spot we worked over pretty good because it was running clear down the road a long ways, and we ended up building this water bar here that's kind of embedded itself in really nice. Made sure the outlet goes down right there, and now it's all going down, and it's not even going down the road at all. So everything so far up through here that we have done is flown rod really nicely. And now we're up to what's called Steep Rock, this obstacle up here. A lot of different kind of options once you get up here, but we'll see. It's totally dry too. Kind of shocked by that. Now we're up to what's called Steep Rock, this obstacle up here. A lot of different kind of options once you get up here. Flowing good up here too today. Sometimes this part can be a little tricky if you get too far to the left, but all in all, not hard so far today. And we're gonna go up here. I think there's a little bit of snow. We're almost to French Creek now. We'll go see what it looks like up there in the trees where there's some snow. See if we can get through there. That one was kind of a mess down there. Tip you a little bit down to the bottom. There's a water bar underneath there, so it's kind of at an angle, so it's high on the, yeah, see, the back end slid into the water bar. That's the exact same thing that happened to me, and then we got down there off the side, and it made it pretty difficult to try and get back up. There it goes. There we go. And here we are at French Creek, and look at that. It's not even running down the road. We'll go walk up and take a look. So we'll walk through here a little bit and look, but this is what we wanted to see, because when we did this in the fall, it was running clear down the road here. And that was in fall, when usually we have substantially lower water. And now we're at almost high water, and I mean, it's June 1st today, and there's snow here at the beginning that we'll walk through, but there is no water running down this road from the creek, which is awesome to see, because that's really what we were hoping for. And this lower berm, which is pretty big, that we built, is flowing a little bit now. That's getting through that second one that we did. We'll take a walk up there and look through all of these. So this creek this year may get a little bit higher, but peak runoff is somewhere between like the first and second week of June. Being that we're June 1st, we're probably not that far away, especially as warm as it's been. So here's the second one. We channeled it out, and it's even flowing out before that, but look how much water's coming down through there, and it's still flowing down that first channel. So that's the first channel that we made, and then as it gets higher, this is the second channel, and then if I turn around, that last one right there is just the third channel where it escapes the little bit that flows over these first two. Yeah, it's ripping pretty good. I mean, look at it cascading down from up there, and it's pretty tipped with snow after that. So I don't know, we might go up to the obstacle and turn around and come back. We'll see. That's what it looks like up here. That creek is ripping today, and it's funny, that's where the road goes over there, and that carcinite actually is telling you not to go that way, the road that went up towards the lake, Hunky Dory Lake, that way. And that's where the road is past the creek, is right there, so it's going to be quite a while. And honestly, one of the only things sticking out over there is our winch anchor. Right there is in a massive boulder up the hill, and that's totally engulfed in snow. You even kind of have some of the snow bridges still that's running under down there. So it's really good to see this, not just when we did the work, but now at near peak water. We'll go see what it looks like up here if we just kind of go up through the creek and then onto those big boulders, the obstacle on the other side, and then maybe there's enough room in the snow for us to turn around, just so we can drive through the creek area that we fixed. But like I said, we don't usually come up here this early in the season either, so it's nice to see what it looks like at high water, because when we left last fall, if you watch that video, barely even touched the water. Just right here in front of these rocks is about it. Everything else was flowing under the boulders, kind of on purpose, that we ended up putting up. So the water's getting close. Yeah. And now we're into the snowfield. Yeah. Justin's up there now turning around, just because, as you could see in the video and stuff, it's just too off camber and steep, and your tires are really wet, so then it makes it extremely slick. But pretty good day. You know, French Creek's right around 11,000 feet, so considerably less than where we were at in the central mountains, where we were 11.4 to 11.9 in some places. But again, you know, it's not north of I-70. Holy Cross isn't, but we would still consider this part of more of the northern mountains, at least the southern end of the northern mountains, than central Colorado, where we are around Buena Vista and Gunnison. So the northern mountains did considerably better. Central mountains, as you've seen in my videos, didn't do bad. And then obviously the southern part of the state did not do well at all. But there is still a lot of snow up here. You know, as we fly the drone around, we look, over there at Hunky Dory Lake and then up to Cleveland Lake. The basins are full. Obviously the lakes are still frozen. And we'll turn around here. Looked really good with the water, so I'm pleased with that, with all the drainage work we did, and even here at French Creek. So it's going to be some time. I mean, even a week's time, the way that snow is angled and how deep it is over there, and this being the north-facing side, it's going to take some time, because even if you get around that first corner there after French Creek, there's that dark area facing the north where there's a lot of water, usually big mud holes in there. That's full of snow. That's going to take some time. So as of right now, you can get to French Creek, not any farther. We laid down a lot of tracks, so these should be melted out in several days, and you could at least get out and hit some of the lower campsites or enjoy the first part of Holy Cross.